Did anyone ever sit you down and warn you that life after 80 could feel like a total curveball? Because let's be honest, even the strongest, most independent folks often find themselves completely caught off guard. I'm not talking about the numbers on your medical chart. I'm talking about deeper, quieter shifts, like the way people start to look past you or how your own body begins to send mixed signals. If you don't recognize these changes, they can lead to unnecessary isolation and a heartbreaking sense of betrayal. In this video, we're revealing 5 harsh, unexpected realities no one escapes after turning 80. Please stay with me until the end, especially for number 5, because understanding these truths is the key to finding peace, purpose, and renewed strength in your golden years. Reality number 1. The shrinking world of social connection. One of the first realities that quietly settles in after reaching 80 is the subtle but unmistakable shrinking of your social world. It doesn't happen overnight, and often you barely notice it at first. You might still receive the occasional phone call from an old friend, a distant relative checking in, or even a rare visitor dropping by your home. Yet, no matter how sporadic these interactions are, there is an undeniable shift in both quantity and quality. The calls may come less frequently. Invitations might dwindle. What once felt like a constant, effortless rhythm of companionship and connection now feels scattered, sometimes even fragile. The laughter that used to fill a room seems to echo less often, and the warmth of shared experiences can seem more like a memory than a living presence. You begin to notice the empty spaces in your week, the quiet afternoons stretching longer than before, and the subtle ache that comes with realizing that some friendships have quietly drifted away, not because of any quarrel, but simply because life has moved on. In this new stage, connection doesn't vanish entirely, but it requires more effort, more patience, and a deeper appreciation for the moments when someone chooses to step into your world. Let's look at why this happens. It isn't personal. Friends move away to be closer to their grandkids. Others grow ill or sadly pass on. Family members get busy running their own races. Without even realizing it, you begin to spend more hours in silence than in conversation. This is not about bitterness. It is about honesty. After 80, many people do not talk about how hard it is to keep those connections alive. You notice the drop in invitations, the widening gap between visits. Even if you are not someone who needs constant company, the absence starts to speak louder than you expected. You may find yourself reminiscing more, not just out of nostalgia, but as a way of keeping the people you care about present in your life, even if only in memory. The laughter you once shared, the ordinary routines you once took for granted, they start to feel like treasures now. I remember Margaret, a lovely woman of 84 who has been my patient for years. She once told me, "Document. I am not lonely. I just miss the noise of life." That statement stuck with me. It is a quiet adjustment that almost everyone faces. No one prepares you for it. And it is why staying emotionally connected to yourself, to your story, becomes more important than ever. Because when the crowd fades, the depth of just a few real connections means more than ever before. So do not wait for the phone to ring. Call them. And if they are gone, write down your memories of them. If you value quality over quantity in your relationships, please comment on the word connection below. Reality number 2. How small health problems become big ones. Something that often catches people off guard in their 80s is how even minor health issues no longer stay minor. A small cold lingers longer than it used to. A bruise takes weeks to fade. A tiny stumble that once would have been forgotten by lunch can now lead to weeks in bed. Or physical therapy. Or even surgery. This happens due to a biological concept called homeostasis. This simply means a decrease in physiological reserves. Think of it as your body's margin for error. In your 60s, that margin was wide. Today, that margin is much smaller. Something as simple as forgetting to drink enough water on a hot day, or skipping just one meal. It can throw off your whole system. You may still feel strong, and in many ways, you are. But your resilience no longer operates behind the scenes the way it did in your younger years. What was once automatic now needs your attention, your care, your gentleness. Let me tell you about Robert, a retired veteran who prided himself on being tough as nails. One afternoon, he skipped lunch because he was busy working in the garage. He got dizzy. He fell. And he ended up in rehab for 6 weeks. He told me he felt betrayed by his body. But here is the truth. It was not a betrayal. It was a signal. The challenge at this stage of life isn't merely physical. It runs far deeper, into the mental and emotional realms. There's a quiet frustration that can creep in, a subtle sense that your body isn't on your side the way it once was. Movements that were effortless may now feel deliberate. Energy that once seemed boundless may now ebb sooner than expected. Yet within this frustration lies a hidden opportunity: awareness. Recognizing the signals your body sends is not a sign of weakness, it is a source of real power. When you begin to truly notice how your body responds, you gain the ability to adjust. You can slow down without surrendering your independence, pace yourself without losing purpose, and prioritize what your body genuinely needs. Perhaps that means more rest at the right times, drinking extra water, choosing meals that nourish rather than simply satisfy, or granting yourself the quiet grace of forgiveness when you fall short. This stage of life isn't about proving anything to anyone, not even to yourself. It's about honoring the strength you still have, safeguarding it by treating your body and mind with care, and refusing to take the gifts of mobility, energy, and resilience for granted. In learning to move in harmony with your own rhythms, you discover that aging is not merely about decline, but about a profound, mindful preservation of what truly matters. If you agree that health needs patience, please comment on the word patience below. Reality number 3. The quiet loss of visibility. One of the most unsettling changes that comes with turning 80 is how easily people start to overlook you. Not out of cruelty, but out of a quiet cultural shift that no one talks about. You walk into a room, and the energy doesn't quite shift the way it used to. You speak, and sometimes people talk over you. Not because they intend to dismiss you, but because they assume you've already finished, or worse, that what you have to say doesn't carry the same weight anymore. You might find yourself repeating stories, pausing longer for acknowledgement at a store counter, or feeling as though you fade into the background during family gatherings. It's not just being overlooked, it's the quiet erosion of presence in a world that moves ever faster, a world that seems to place youth on a pedestal. The experience can feel painfully isolating. It's as if the world notices your age before it notices you. Your experiences, your insights, your hard-earned wisdom, sometimes brushed aside, even when they hold more depth and truth than ever before. I remember a conversation with George, a sharp, thoughtful man of 82. He told me about a simple trip to the hardware store, a place he had frequented faithfully for over 40 years. That day, he stood patiently at the counter, waiting for assistance. A young clerk glanced past him to help a younger customer who had just arrived. George felt a pang of invisibility. He felt small, almost erased, despite the decades of knowledge, skill, and life experience he carried with him. It was a moment that perfectly captured a subtle, often unspoken truth. Aging in a world that glorifies speed and youth can make even the most familiar spaces feel unfamiliar, and even the most confident voices feel unheard. Yet, within these moments, there is also a quiet resilience. George's story reminds us that being seen may not always be immediate, but recognizing the value of your own presence, even when others overlook it, is a form of strength that grows sharper with age. This reality can spark a range of emotions: sadness, frustration, even a quiet kind of grief. But there is also a strength in seeing the shift for what it is. Not a reflection of your worth, but of a culture that forgets to listen to its elders. You are not invisible. The world may not always notice you first, but your voice still carries weight. So do not retreat. Don't let silence define you. Share what you have seen. Share what you have survived. Be the quiet force that reminds people what dignity looks like. You are seasoned, and that carries more power than most realize. If you refuse to be invisible, please comment on the phrase "I am seen" below. Reality number 4. The narrowing of your daily life. One of the hardest parts of aging after 80 isn't just about what happens inside your body. It is about what quietly disappears from the outside. Your world, once busy and filled with familiar faces and places, starts to feel smaller. Not all at once, But piece by piece, you might find yourself going out less often. Not because you don't want to, but because even familiar places feel farther away, harder to reach, or more exhausting than they used to. The energy it once took to step out into the world now requires planning, pacing, and sometimes a bit of courage. Friends who once dropped by for a cup of tea or a chat move away or slow down. Neighbors change, streets evolve, and favorite restaurants or shops, places that felt like extensions of home, close their doors. Your world doesn't collapse suddenly. It contracts slowly, almost imperceptibly. Yet this gentle shrinking carries its own weight. At first, the loneliness may seem like a whisper, a little extra quiet here or there, but over time it can press in more insistently, even on the most independent souls. There is something quietly disorienting about watching once familiar routines and spaces slip just beyond reach, like pages turning in a book you thought you knew by heart. I think of Nancy, who for 20 years began every morning at a local bakery, a place that became more than a spot for coffee and bread. It was a touchstone, a small ritual that grounded her day. When it closed its doors last year, she told me she felt a sense of loss that went far beyond missing the smell of fresh pastries or the taste of her morning latte. She felt as though a piece of her identity had quietly vanished, along with the sense of belonging that came from being known, even in small, ordinary ways. It reminded her that our connection to the world is often built on seemingly minor routines, and when those routines fade, so too can the invisible scaffolding that supports our sense of place and self. There is something quietly powerful in naming this experience, in acknowledging it fully. What you are feeling is not weakness, nor a failing, it is grief. It is the natural human sadness that comes with watching chapters of life close, with noticing the spaces once filled with people, routines, and familiar places slowly contract. Yet within this recognition lies a profound truth. Even as the old world shrinks, a new one can still expand. That expansion may not come from grand adventures, faraway travel, or spectacular events. Instead, it can emerge from the subtle, deeply meaningful moments. The depth of a conversation that lingers long after it ends, the bond formed with someone younger who brings a fresh perspective, or the joy of sharing your stories, memories, and hard-earned wisdom in ways you never have before. The world does not need to be vast to be rich with meaning. What matters is that it feels alive. So pick up the phone and call that friend, even if they live far away. Sign up for that book group or discussion circle, even if it is entirely online. Step outside for a short walk, even if it is just around the block. Each small act of engagement is a thread connecting you to life, to others, and to yourself. In naming your grief, in honoring your limitations, and in choosing moments of connection, you find that even a world that seems to be shrinking can still brim with vitality, curiosity, and unexpected joy. If you are finding joy in small things, please comment on the word JOY below. Reality number 5. The unpredictability of your own body. After 80, your body starts sending mixed messages, and often at the worst times. One day, you wake up feeling clear-headed, steady on your feet, strong enough to take on the world. The next, you are slower, foggier, unsure why your knees won't cooperate, or why your hands can't quite grip that coffee mug like they used to. What makes this stage of life so frustrating isn't just the physical inconvenience, it's the sense of betrayal. You have lived in this body for decades. You have trusted it implicitly, relied on it for every step, every gesture, every movement. And now, seemingly without warning, it begins to change the rules. One morning, you may plan a walk, only to be hit by an unexpected wave of fatigue that slows your pace and dulls your enthusiasm. You bend down to tie a shoelace and realize it takes longer than it used to rise again. Sometimes, you are caught off guard by sudden dizziness, stiffness, or a strange numbness that disappears as mysteriously as it arrived. These are the subtle reminders that your body, once so dependable, now carries its own agenda. Joe, a patient of mine, put it succinctly, "Doc, I don't mind getting old. I mind the uncertainty. That uncertainty is insidious. Chips away not just at mobility, but at confidence. Every step, every planned outing, is now accompanied by a quiet caution. Will my legs hold me steady today? Will I be able to rise from this chair without assistance?" Even the simplest activities carry an added layer of calculation. That uncertainty can make you feel smaller, more fragile, and hesitant in situations where you once felt completely in control. It is a reminder that aging is not merely a series of physical changes. It is a test of patience, adaptability, and the courage to continue moving forward despite the unpredictability of your own body. But if there is one truth that can help here, it is this. Your body may no longer be consistent, but your response to it can be. Flexibility becomes your new strength. Adaptability becomes your shield. You learn to prepare, to pace, to give yourself grace without giving up. You start to listen a little more closely, to rest when needed. Talk to your doctor, not just when something is wrong, but to understand how to stay a step ahead. Because knowledge, even in the face of unpredictability, gives you a sense of power. This is a big one. Please comment on the word adapt below if you are learning to roll with the punches. As we wrap up, we have explored 5 critical realities that can truly transform how you experience your golden years. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you, and I want you to really think about it. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video? I am not asking for a big life overhaul. I am asking for one small promise. It could be as simple as, I will drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. I will call an old friend tomorrow just to say hello. Or perhaps, I will forgive myself when I need to rest. Please, share your personal commitment in the comments below. Do not just keep it in your head. Write it down. When you write it down, you make it real. And when you share it, you inspire someone else reading the comments to take that first step, too. Let's turn this comment section into a place of encouragement. And if you found real value and comfort in our time together today, please show your support by giving this video a like. It helps more people like us find this message. To ensure you continue on this journey with us and never miss another video full of life-changing wisdom, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. It is more than just subscribing. It is joining a community dedicated to living our best lives. Together, you are not alone in this. Finally, think of one person who needs to hear this message today. Maybe a sibling, a parent, or a dear friend who has been feeling a little down. Please share this video with them. You might just change their perspective and brighten their day. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy, stay wise, and I will see you in the next video.